Hello, my name is Josie Shamp. I'm a senior here at Bethany College, and I am pursuing a degree in chemistry and biology. So for my interview for this assignment, I actually interviewed two individuals, Allison Nold and John Sapola. They are both project specialists at Kahuna Ventures. I was able to contact them because my uncle is the owner of Kahuna Ventures, and he founded this company about 6 or 7 years ago. It works with project management, engineering, and operations for natural gas all across North America. And so I asked him if he had any chemical engineers interested in helping me with this assignment, and they both volunteered and had kind of different perspectives, so I included both. So their education, Allie attended Colorado School of Mines, where she received a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, but had a strong interest in economics. So she is furthering that interest right now and attending University of Colorado at Denver, where she is focusing on the economics and doing a Master's of Business Administration. John kind of went a different direction. He told me he attended Regis Jesuit High School, since that was one of our rivals. He thought it was really fun to tell me that. He attended the University of Colorado at Boulder for his undergrad and did a Bachelor's of Science in Chemical Engineering with a biochemical focus rather than an economic focus. That was good for me to talk to them about these schools because I'm looking at those for grad school, so it kind of gave me a perspective on that. Some people don't know what chemical engineering is. I get a lot of questions about it, so I figured I'd let you know a little about that. Chemical engineering is applied chemistry. You're going to take chemical reactions and use those to solve other problems and build facilities at a larger scale than just the lab that will do it more efficiently for the industries. And you can design them, construct them, operate them, do the whole process. There's chemical engineers in pretty much every science field that you could find. So they are known as like universal engineers, kind of have a good knowledge in everything. What specifically they do, some will design and invent processes, others will take on the job of actually constructing that process for an industry. Then they have to always keep up with the uptake in the plant, the facilities, make sure it's working okay, troubleshooting. Some will design new products, papers, dyes. Fireworks is a good example that chemical engineers design, and that's one way to take one material to another form to solve a problem. And their big focus right now they're trying to change to is to make it more cost effective and efficient because they do produce a lot of waste at this time. They're trying to become a little bit more environmentally friendly and have that as a focus. So their career paths. Allie, as I said, attended Colorado School of Mines, did chemical engineering to have an overall job that would have a lot of options. And then she originally worked for URS. She wanted to stay in Denver and in Colorado and knew she wanted to do the natural oil and gas industry. So she got a job straight out of college with URS, but she didn't really like the corporate life and she didn't like it there. John, on the other hand, just talked about how high school is really where he decided what he wanted to do. Loved chemistry classes, and said he was really good at math. So he did the engineering just because he was really comfortable with math. And he originally moved down to Phoenix and worked as an environmental engineer, kind of a little different side of things. They both switched to Kahuna later. Allie switched because she didn't like the corporate life, so she went on to work for her MBA, and while she was doing that, a friend informed her about an interview at Kahuna when it was first starting. So that's how she found out about Kahuna. And then John just said he got bored. He didn't like Phoenix and he was bored, so he moved back to Colorado and was looking for something and found out about Kahuna. So they both switched and talked about how much they love where they're at. Job responsibilities, Allie's only been there for a year, where John's been there for 4. So she does the more general designing and doing process simulation on the computer, and then calling vendors and ordering the equipment to make plants, and then assists in the transfer to a new engineer like John, who sizes them, sets them up, runs the plant, does the layout and all of that of the new facility, and does the startup and troubleshooting that goes with it. Supervisor responsibilities, I kind of asked them if they had any. They said they don't have any specific supervisor responsibilities, but they do bring in a lot of interns and do a lot of EBEs almost with groups. So they said they have to help them, and that's where they do their supervising, is to help teach them and assist them in their learning. And Allie pointed out how she really feels comfortable in the group and that her opinions matter. because they work so much as a team. If they have problems and they can't figure it out, they don't just solve it on their own, and they do a lot of teamwork stuff. So she's like, I'm not a supervisor, but I feel like my ideas actually matter. So I asked them kind of what an average day looks like, what exactly they do. Both did throw out an emphasis, they don't have a typical average day. Allie arrives at work, and the first thing she always does is goes through emails and responds appropriately. And then she says some days she'll work with simulations and processing on computers. Other days she's traveling to vendors, finding equipment, finding what she needs. But she talks about how every day there's something different. She's got to try something new, she's got a different task, so it's always changing. Which is what John prefers about the job, is that some days he's doing call out, some days he's working in the lab, some days he just sits at his desk and does emails. But he likes that it's challenging and it does change, and it wasn't the same thing every day like his last job where he was bored. Asked if salary was good, whether they felt it was adequate. Allie's only been there for a year, so she said for now it's really adequate and she likes the benefits, but she's still getting comfortable in the situation. John's been there for 4 years, and he said salary and all is adequate, but he focused more on how rewarding the job was and how he loves being there, feels accomplished every day when he goes home, that he solved some sort of problem, and really likes being challenged at work, and also knowing he's helping the country with energy problems and the North America in general. So I asked about advancement and if there was a place they could go next in their job. Allie was totally excited, and she has the goal to become a project manager. She wants to not just do the simulation on the computer, but be at job sites, travel to Panama and Belize and Pennsylvania where all the plants are, and actually work on the fields in the plants. And John said yes, he has opportunities, but he doesn't really think about where he wants to go next, but he knows you can't just have it handed to you. You can't just expect your boss to give it to you. So he's like, I need to take my initiative. I need to step further to get to that point. Asked them if there's any beneficial experiences along their path to where they are now that really helped them to be comfortable in the chemical engineering field and with what they do. Allie said the best thing was, even though she hated it, working for URS, because she learned a lot while she was there, and it was the background of her actual daily work there that led her to be able to do the simulating at Kahuna. And John went on for a very long time about his experience in college as a senior. They actually put together a team of just undergraduate chemical engineers and gave them an entire project on their own. They had advisors they could talk to if they needed help, but they had to do all the work on their own. And they had to build an entire control system for irrigation in an orchard just down south in Colorado. And then John's specific part of the team and the job was to the setup and actually install the gate controller, do all of that, which he said was really hard work and had him really stressed. But it was a great experience because he had so many deadlines, and I guess they had a lot of problems arise while starting it, so he got to deal with the troubleshooting, which he said was a great experience to learn real world. It's not the perfect setting in a classroom. So I just asked them, since this is kind of the direction I'm going, if they had any advice to help me along my path and going to grad school and what I should focus on. Both of them said, don't settle. If you don't like your job, there's always different options. They said chemical engineering is so wide and hits so many fields, there's a lot of paths you can take. You should find the right one for you. John really said to find something challenging. Don't do the same stuff every day, it gets boring. So to find something that'll actually challenge me day in and day out. Allie talked about how even though you might not like the job you're currently in or the place you're currently at, doesn't mean the industry or field's not right. You just need to find the location that you're comfortable. Just like she did with URS and then switched. It was the same industry, but she really enjoyed it the second time through. And the big point they made is it's not just your job. It's not what you're doing every day at your desk, but it's who you work with and that teamwork. The unity is a lot of it. Even though the responsibility is the same different places, people can change it a lot. So they said do what makes you happy and find the right fields of engineering to go down. My opinion after talking with Allie and John is I do want to continue with chemical engineering. And I definitely want to have a biochemical focus like John had and he talked with me a little bit about. But I'm not quite sure I'm going to follow my uncle's footsteps and go with the oil and natural gas industry. It just, the work they did and the simulations didn't seem to fit what I want to do, where I want to do more of like a research base and be in the labs doing the chemical experiments, and then they'll be the ones to expand it to the industry. So thanks for your time.